Hey, how you doing? Duff here, time for another Duff 3D video. And what you see behind me is the end result of my longest 3D print ever, as long as I've been into 3D printing, which is now 2 years and counting, I believe, somewhere around there. Yeah, this huge skull model. Let me just show you what it normally looks like. Right here's the standard model size, which Cindy has done an excellent job painting and finishing. She's really good at that. Just wait till she gets done with this big one. So anyways, yeah, there's your frame of reference. This print took a total of 82 hours of print time, which is pretty crazy. It did use slightly less than one roll of filament, so I was able to do it all with one piece of filament. I printed it with 10% infill, I believe. I think the walls and top and bottom layers were like 2 or 3, probably 3. And this is the end result. Even though this thing was blown up to 250%, the detail on it still looks great. You should have seen some of the video in the beginning that showed, like, this is the very top, where you might start getting some Z wobble and stuff, but I think it looks really, really good. So I wanted to test the Chiron for max height. I've done a bunch of printing on it, but it was all low things, so I wanted to print something high, and this was about as high as I could get. As you can see, where the x-axis is still at its finished position, so you can tell I only had maybe a centimeter or less to go till I would have totally maxed out the height. So I wanted to test it and see how it would work, how it would do with a long print like that. And now I can't see myself. And I got my answer. The answer was it did great, except for a couple caveats that I just wanted to throw out there. I'm just curious if other people have the same issues, but does it look like my eyes are crossed right now? It looks that way in the viewfinder. They're not, are they? Maybe something else is wrong with me, who knows. So anyways, I wanted to get a very, very good test for a large and big and long print. And this fit the bill for sure. Like I said, the Chiron did very well. The only issues that I saw, or that I would mention, here you may see the piece of electrical tape that I have around the wire loom. The reason for that is with all that back and forth movement, the loom started to get frayed, and the reason it got frayed is because of this little exposed screw right here. Very sharp. I'm going to probably actually put some electrical tape over this as well to negate the possibility of that causing damage in the future, but this is not a great spot to have a sharp edge screw head. I would think that AnyCubic would be able to fix that problem pretty easily. And the only other problem that I would mention, and again, this may be something I just can't get away from, based on I posted on the AnyCubic forum on Facebook about this, is the print times in general with all my prints on this, not just this big one. They've been dramatically longer than what's predicted in Cura when it slices it. And that's a normal thing. It's a print never, at least in my experience, never matches up to Cura. Cura is always overly optimistic. But with the Chiron, that difference is dramatic. It seems like in my testing, no matter what my print is, the print time is about 50% more than what is posted in Cura. This one was predicted to take 2 days, and I don't remember how many hours, and it took 82 hours. So it took over three days. It took 3¼ days to print. So, I mean, I don't think there's anything I can do about it. The feedback that I got, I'm so nasally right now. My nose has been running like crazy. The feedback I got was, the reason for that is because the dimensions on the Chiron are so big, like the bed is so huge, the acceleration and jerk settings on it are tuned down. And I guess when I thought about it, it makes sense, because when you have something that's that big, the bed, I mean, everything's big. The bed, the x-axis, everything is big. The gantry, fast movements can be exacerbated. Momentum could cause it to, shake the entire printer, which could affect the print. So I guess you just have to get used to prints taking a long time in the Chiron. Now, someone might be able to give me different information in the comments below, but The information I got was that's just kind of the way it is. There's nothing wrong with the printer. Just because of its size, it's gonna want to print slower to give you the best quality. Oh, the one other slight mod that I did was I added a LED light up here to the top. As you saw, I did a time lapse of the print, and this LED helped me not have to keep all the room lights on the entire time. I think it was like $25 at Home Depot. It's a GE 12-inch LED light. I just have it, you know, strapped to the top. Nothing fancy, but it did its job. But other than that, yeah, the printer's been working well. I'm looking forward to doing some more really cool stuff on it. The only other thing that I wanted to mention was my last video about the Chiron, where I mentioned how I love the printer, except for a couple things. You know, the things I mentioned was the automatic leveling is pretty terrible, and how loading the filament is kind of a pain in the ass, especially compared to the i3 Megas that are over here on my side. And I actually got a response in the comments from AnyCubic themselves, and they agreed that the auto leveling is less than perfect, and it sounds like they're working on something to make that better. And they also are supposedly working on something to make loading filament easier, because I guess that's been identified by other people that it's seems overly difficult. I'm hoping that whatever solution they come up for that problem, that it's backwards compatible, that is something that I could get for this printer to make it easier loading filament, because it's definitely not a easy task. Alright, I think I just turned the recording off when I meant to turn it on, or vice versa. So if you found this video interesting or entertaining, please give it a big thumbs up. I appreciate it very much. If this is your first time visiting the channel, please consider subscribing. And especially if you are seeing this on the Duff 3D channel, it really could use some subscribers. So anything you could do to help me push that number, I would appreciate it. Feel free to leave your comments, suggestions, and ideas below. I really get a lot of value out of that, and I appreciate anybody who takes the time to drop me a comment. That's all I got for you for now. Hope you're having a good week, and until next time, Duffman out. Can you believe how big this is? Holy shit.